G'day guys, we all know the importance of research and development so we can remain leaders in our field. And that's why LSA has joined forces with the Turf Grass Group in the States, along with Texas A&M and Georgia State Universities. We're talking about three of the greatest turf research and development teams in the world. And what they're doing is checking it out, making sure it works in the States, and then we apply that in Australia. What we've got in here are zoysias, and that's what they've been concentrating on, developing over the last sort of decade. We've been doing it for 3 years, and what we'll end up with is a product that our customers will love and our competitors won't have. So, since LSA has been established, we've been continuing on the research that's been done around the world, having various plots right across the country. And here's what we've found. Now, the American research is really important, but it's not the be-all and end-all. Some of the grasses that they've fallen in love with and do amazing things aren't doing it here. And some of the grasses that they really didn't rave about are thriving in our conditions. And what we've got here is a comparison of a lot of them. This first one, you might recognise it, it's called Sir Water Buffalo. And no surprise, you've got a beautiful coverage of lush green grass. Not a weed to be seen, and I'm sure if we were playing footy and cricket on it, it'd recover in no time at all. And right next to it, you've got Zoysia japonica 1062. Now, this is probably not a fair comparison for the Zoysia. And the reason why is you can see all these patches here. Well, that's not where the grass has failed to grow. That's where it's been growing really well. We've taken out plugs and we've taken it into the glass house to grow it on. What you'll find with this is out of all the zoysias, it's the broadest blade of grass. So it's the one that aesthetically, the way we look at it, compares the most to the buffalo. It grows beautifully laterally, which means it's going to recover itself, and we reckon it's going to be a really good product for the Australian market. The next couple of grasses are Synodon Dactynon ST5 and the Zoysia Matrella FZ1. Now, the Synodon, a couch grass, the jury's out at the moment because we don't really know if it's any different to existing couches on the market. What we do know, it's got a beautiful dark green to it, a fine leaf, so we're just going to have to wait and see what it does. The Zoysia Matrella, well, we're excited about this. You can cut it nice and thin and get a lot of turf to the pallet, which means you can move it around the country easy, and we reckon it'll be fantastic for the golf greens. The next two are Zoysia japonicas. You've got the DR2 and the LR2. Now, the DR2 is a bit of a dark horse. It's got a nice broad leaf to it, strong runners, and we reckon it's got potential. The LR2, well, instead of runners, it's getting a lot of thatch, which means when you mow it, you're scalping, it looks under stress. So we just don't think it's right for the Australian climate. The next one is Zoysia Matrella 1094. And this doesn't do it justice because, again, we've been hacking at it to propagate it on in the glasshouse. But what you've got here is a deep-rooted grass, which means it's drought tolerant. It doesn't have a lot of thatch, and your maintenance on it is very low because it's a slow-growing grass. This hasn't been fed at all, and it is thriving. We're really excited about this grass, and we reckon it's got a huge future in the Australian market. The next four grasses are all Zoysia japonicas. This first one, B23, was picked to be one of the winners, but as soon as it was laid, it created a lot of thatch, and that means a lot of work to keeping it looking good. So we'll keep an eye on it, but we don't think it's there yet. The next one, Zoysia japonica 662, is probably going to be really good for sporting fields. It's got a little bit of thatch, but that can be managed, and it's got a beautiful green to it all year round. Wish I could play sport on that. The B9, it's slow growing, which has potential. It's got a little bit of thatch and a nice green to it. So we're going to keep an eye on it. And the LR1, well, if you have a look at this and see how patchy it is, it's not for the same reason as those other ones. We haven't touched this and taken any out. All the energy goes to creating seed. So if it's going to seed, it's not creating grass, and it's looking patchy like this. So it just doesn't work in our environment. We're nearly there. There's only two left. The next one is Zoysia Matrella DR3. Good looking grass, doing everything we want it to do, but in our plot tests, we reckon the DR2 is doing better. So it's there, we'll keep an eye on it, and who knows. And last but not least, the Zoysia LSA native. Compared to other native zoysias on the market, this one is a lot easier to look after and just looks better. The potential, well, it's endless. People love a native plant, and they're going to love this lawn because it's easy to grow. Laterally, it's got a beautiful green tinge to it. And Danny, I like it. Do you? Which is your favourite? The zoysias. The zoysias. Me too.